Welcome to Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews. Today with Thomas and the all-new Skoda Superb Combi, the estate version. We've reviewed the sedan so far, so check that one out also in the video description. Also because we're there, show different colors on the exterior, different trim levels on the interior. This here today with this brilliant silver in the Combi, the new Combi, we're going to explain the changes from the predecessor and also the difference from the sedan and the Combi. Is the Combi really better? Or is maybe the sedan the better choice for you? Interior trim level, and you already see that on the outside from the logo L&K, the top trim level here, also very exciting. And so we're going to explain to you today what is actually special with this kind of car. Entry price in Germany is about 26,000 euros. That's about 1,000 euros more than the sedan, and that will be kind of the same in every market. So far, this car here has been sold to 1/3 as an estate version. It won't remain the same actually, because China is now the biggest market already for Skoda, and they really prefer the sedans. So the sedan percentage will rise a lot. However, also that will be the case in Germany, because in Germany so far this car was kind of only sold as an estate version. Now also more sedans will be sold, because the sedan already offers this very practical hatch where you don't have a separate trunk, but also something kind like an estate version, just that the roofline is still dropping down. So there's actually not so much room for this estate version anymore, but maybe it will be 1/4 or 1/5 of every sale in the future. So still, especially for Germany and the UK, is still a very relevant car. So here in the front, this new strong front, even BMW drivers like it and think about changing the car actually, with some kind of power dome up here, the strong black grille here, it really looks great. These crystal artwork here in the top headlights, 3D effect going inside, so I think they have really done something great with the exterior design here. And of course the front is same with the sedan and the Combi we have here. Side profile, this is of course different here today. You see, this is a difference here, but the general length of the car, 4,85 m, is the same for the sedan and the Combi. And also the wheelbase has been enlarged in comparison to the predecessor model, but of course again same sedan and Combi. 2,84 m now, 8 cm more than the predecessor, 2 cm total longer than the predecessor in the length, 8 cm in the wheelbase, because it's also standing on this MQB platform, the modular transverse building platform by the Volkswagen Corporation. And this longer wheelbase will create more space in the interior, especially for the rear passengers, and that's also quite change here for the Combi, because we have more headroom in here. We will soon see that in the interior review. In general, from the design, you see here the L&K logo, Lauren and Clement, Skoda founders. Then the design line up on top of the handlebar, which go all the way in the back. And I think it's for a estate version, really great design, very clear lines. Also, again, we see this crystal look beginning right here. We also see that soon in the rear. What have they done with the roofline? We've got the roof rails here for additional equipment, yes, but then they have thought about, okay, we still want to offer a lot of space, but it shall look dynamic. So we didn't drop the line then too low, they say, but just a little bit. Little bit of the roof dropping here, not as much as in the sedan, of course. So we don't lose too much space on the inside, but still it looks good. And I think they found a good compromise. 18-inch alloys, serial equipment with the L&K top trim level. The trim level below it has 17-inch alloys, but you can always pick the optional bigger alloys. For example, I recommend you not to go for the L&K equipment, because it is 12,000 euros extra in price. Go for the middle trim levels. There you got the most stuff in there, and then just pick like 1 or 2 extras you even want to have yourself, and then have a car maybe 35,000 euros or something like that. That is really much fine. compared to the entry price of 26,000 euros in Germany, and not that expensive in the L&K. Short look at the rear, and then we'll finally go to the interior. Look at the rear. Again, this crystal work with the tail lights. I really love that kind of work. But again, I think, well, the Combi looks a little bit bulky in comparison to the sedan, especially from the rear. Really love the rear sedan look. Or what about you? State us your opinion here in the comments then. But the Combi has to be more practical then, of course, and I think we can live with that. Brilliant silver on the outside, and on the inside L&K top trim level as well. Full leather seats. I cannot recommend them because you stick on them on summer times and winter times. They are cold. Also the seats, I think they're a little bit too short for tall people in the height and also in the seating area, but they look great. I would recommend the middle trim level and then go for the seats Alcantara on the inside, forks leather on the outside. That one is the best solution. In general, you see the cockpit, high class, definitely premium quality, not for a premium price. Also the dashboard, shiny dark black elements. The gauges, however, they're more this classical style. I think it's quite fitting. Classic analog style, and also with this white ring around it here in this L&K version. I think it really fits to the car. It's not that racing car, it is really a very elegant, smooth car. Some people say they could have done more in the interior because the exterior is already that dramatic. Well, yes, there could be some more emotional features, but in general I think I like the interior because everything is so clean. Cockpit overview here. You see when you get nothing activated, but have put on the ignition, there's an analog digital clock. Does something exist like this? Yes, obviously it does. By the way, look at the date, so you can also measure us how fast our reviews go online. And if we turn it on, maybe here, oh, it's off. There it was. Okay, this is the top GPS. You see a huge screen, also with the proximity sensor. That means when I leave it alone, it's all the way the screen. If I put my hand here, proximity sensor, then the keys appear here, the digital keys. I could also use it as an iPad, zoom in, zoom out, and also browse around the map. But I can also use the switches here. The GPS works very great, by the way. I can either change it here, for example, also the smartphone integration. I have an iPhone 4, doesn't work with that. Apple Carplay is also in there, or Android Auto, Mirror Link. What do you think about it? Do you really need this? And what do you use it for? Because for me, I just go to phone, search telephone, and connect it via Bluetooth, and then I have my music. And I have all the phone functions actually for talking to people, what you do with a phone. I'm not sure what else I could use via Mirror Link. I'm not sure if I would really read my emails here. I would rather concentrate on driving. That's my opinion, but what's yours? That's for the multimedia system. Then let's check the climate unit below here. Classic from Volkswagen. Good overview. We know everything, how to control it. Good haptics as well. And then there's also a seat heating here with a seat ventilation. This is optional, available, and you can use both at the same time. For example, in the winter times, you get a wet outs coming from the outside coming in, and then you want to be warmed, but dried at the same time, though it's possible. Now, we just want to have the seat cooling. It doesn't have a real good effect, I think. It's just a little bit, I would wish that it's a little bit stronger, actually. Storage spaces here on the inside of the doors, not too big actually, but still quite okay. Then if we move on, here, by the way, beautiful very clean design. All the surfaces, they really feel great. It's still, for example here, this is hard, this is a little bit softer, but this is hard. But although it's a hard surface, it really feels soft, almost like leather. So you see, you can use non-leather surface, but still makes them high class. Standard glove box here. Okay, for the space. CD is also possible. Then let's move on here. We can put in the first phone here, USB slot and the 12 volt. Well, I can also show you how it looks closed. Ta-da! Slides back very slowly. That's also nice. DSG shifting lever is also designed very well with the Lauren and Clement logo. Then cup holders here. They are not the best cup holders though. A little bit, you know, I don't know. I've seen better ones. But then again, nice surface here, also very stable. This one here can also be cool. Let's imagine it would rain. No, let's not. On both sides of the doors you have this umbrella against the rain, or also now against the sun, because it's very hot today. Oh, first I have to unscrew it. Look. Now it is this. And this is one of the simply clever solutions. Yes, it's a marketing claim. But maybe it's one of the marketing claims that can also be taken for granted in some cases. For example, there's also this famous ice scraper on the fuel cap side, and for parking ticket you got that you can put some parking ticket or some parking allowance ticket on behind the window. And this is here the umbrella in both doors. Usually you just find such feature in a Rolls-Royce. There it's, for example, when you just press it and then with a chrome frame. Here it's rather simple solution. But still, it is an umbrella inside of the doors. And there you can say, hey, look at what I got here with my car. Let's get into the rear, because that's also really important here. 3.9 centimeters more shoulder space on the front seats. And what's the gain on the rear seats? More knee space. Look at that. Oh my God, so much knee space. This is really great. It is class leading indeed. This is, I would be driving as a driver 1.86 m. And then the head clearance. Still got this kind of head clearance left. However, if you think about, if you also compare it to the sedan video, we got the panoramic roof in here. And so if we would leave that one out, we would even have such headspace more. So in the sedan, we didn't have the panoramic roof. So if you think about a tall person in the back, and the sedan and the panoramic roof, it could be, well, quite close. Here it doesn't matter, also tall people can sit here with a panoramic roof. Very comfortable seating position here, not too much leaning back, because sometimes SUVs can be more comfortable in the back side, because they also have the upright seating position, or these vans we've recently shown you a lot from. But here also very good seating position. Again, also not for the tallest people, I would say. Panoramic roof, I can also show you when I put on the ignition, and let me show you right now how it really opens. And how long? And you see it's split, and that's because you can really open it. I prefer roofs that can be opened, and not just panoramic roofs that go all the way but cannot be opened. Then a good feature is I can also move as a chauffeur, maybe from a driver position. I can move the co-driver seat to the front, and then you can really use it as a chauffeur car. Use the iPad here. You can also browse some, for example, a map here. I can do an entertainment here, film stuff or whatever. There's this media command system, and that's connecting. By the way, I can show you something else. Look at this one here. This is the standard power plug. Oh my God. So actually, I used to load my MacBook there. That is a really good solution, and USB just for the iPad or for whatever. And then here in the top level, also heated seating, and temperature control here for the rear passengers. That's really like a luxury car, and you really have to think about, maybe you use it also as a taxi driver or something like that, and or as a professional chauffeur, because even for this price here, this car, I mean, this one here has a same 45,000 euros, but you can also get one for example, 35,000 euros. And then you have the same comfort, space, even more maybe than in cars that are double or triple the price. So here now some details, for example, browsing Prague from above. Greetings to our Czech viewers, because that's where the car is actually from. Not exactly from Prague, but we've seen the world premiere first of time of the sedan. Now let's get to the hatch, because this is way different here. We got the electric version in here in the top trim level, and there are three ways actually. You can pull this one here, or you can use the key. By the way, this is the key here. It's also a special new Skoda key. Beautiful, don't you think so? With these bright applications, I think very well done. Then you can press this button here, or third option, there is this foot opening mechanism, and you know, it quite often fails, so I'll just try it, you know. And I've learned that it sometimes can work if you actually touch it below here with your foot. Not only wave it, but also touch it a little bit. And then let's give it one more chance with this foot mechanism. Or we can definitely say, just leave this feature, don't go for it. But I think I found a way how it works with the key, and that's, I think it was the reason, because the ignition was turned on. Then the key maybe didn't react to this opening mechanism, why ever. But so you see the foot opening, it doesn't really work that well. But it did work, like I think 3 times now, but never on camera. But I mean, it has to work every time, usually. However, you see with the key I can open it and also close it again, and I can just stop in between. So I have to hold the key, but it still works. This is the way it works with the key. And then there's also another interesting feature with the electric hatch, because if you think about it, when you open it, it's usually going all the way up. And that can be good, because you can easily go below it. But now imagine you have maybe a garage, something like that, that is not that high, or a carport. This could be a problem then. So there's also this feature that when you open the hatch, and now, for example, stop it and hold, the sound should appear. Let's hold it again. Now, you maybe heard that small sound, and this sound meant this is now the memory for the hatch, so it remains at this kind of height when I open it the next time. Of course, we'll test it live again. Just first close it. Now once you get it, will it work or will it not? Will it work like the foot opening work? Yeah, this one works. This one is really flawless, and then it's a good solution, because when your carport ends here, you know, then it doesn't damage. However, we do the check again with the safety mechanism. You know, we lately criticized, for example, when a child is standing here, that's also a reason why you have to hold the key, but still, someone can get in between here, especially children. And when I now leave my hand here, it doesn't stop. I don't know, why are they doing this? This is dangerous, what the hell? Same with opening it. Why doesn't it stop? It stopped now because I have this level set, but it doesn't really stop as a safety mechanism. By the way, if you want to change the position, then you just push it up manually, and then again hold the button until the sound appears, and then the new position is changed again for the hatch. About 660 liters to maximum of about 2000 liters, really a lot of space, and there are practical solutions here. These switches, then the rear benches can be split 1/3 to 2/3, and so put everything all the way down there. And let's see then how much space is there actually really in there. So we measure today. This is here 2 meters, and you see 2 meters here is from the beginning of the front seats until the back of the trunk, approximately. And now Skoda says that when you put things 3 meters and 10, you can start at the left part here below that and then go across. And well, there's one problem, because it is theoretically possible. Let's say this is 2 meters then, and then I add from here to the front, almost to the dashboard, plus about 1 meter. That's so it's approximately 3 meters. That's fine. So it's theoretically right what they say, but there's a problem here with the L&K version, because I have the electric seats here, and they cannot be switched totally. So now it starts to be over. So you need the non-electric seats here that you can actually put this seat completely down. And then this 3.10 meters is possible to load stuff across here, so that you can go to IKEA. Maybe there's a secret trick here for the electric seats. I don't know it. Maybe you do. But as it seems right now, you need to have the manual seats that this maximum in the length loading is actually possible. Talking about the engines, let's open that one. Autogefühl hydraulic dampers, check everything right. The TDI, the diesel, turbo diesel. This is one with 2 liter and 190 horsepower. It's also available with 150 horsepower and a smaller diesel with 1.6 liters of displacement and 120 horsepower. And for the petrol engines, there's a 1.4 liter displacement available with 125 or 150 horsepower and a 2 liter displacement as we have here with the TDI. And then for the petrol engines with 220 horsepower or 280 horsepower. The latter one is always combined DSG and all-wheel drive. And this one here is always combined with DSG and optional all-wheel drive. So the 2 strongest engines also available with all-wheel drive then, petrol and the diesel. So let's get to driving the Skoda Superb Combi, the new version of the E-State as well here. And well, the riding is basically the same than the sedan, I can already tell you right now. Sometimes there are a lot of differences also between the sedan and the E-State version, but I mean it's the same length. The interior is also quite of the same. Well, you got a little bit more space in the back, so it could be a small acoustic difference maybe, but really hard to tell. I think you really have to drive it directly after each other, maybe to get a small difference or something like that, but I don't think there's any. Also from the driving dynamics and also from the soft riding here when I'm just cruising, it's basically all the same, and so you can really just pick, do you want the E-State or the sedan, maybe from the looks or maybe from the space you actually need. So that's, I think, one key finding here, first of all. Then in general, about driving the Skoda Superb here, the all-new car, it's just really superb also in driving. The sound insulation is very good. I can easily talk to you now at 100 kilometers an hour without raising my voice too high, actually. The steering wheel also reacts kind of direct. Well, not that really sport steering wheel, but it has no dead zone, and I really like that. And soon we are changing now to a curve here. And I can also tell you more again why changing it. For example, here now we feel the car is really set on comfort. It's not a really hard sports ride. However, I can put a sport mode here, and then throttle input is higher, and I get more feedback from the suspension. This dynamic chassis control, DCC how they call it, is included here in this top trim level L&K. However, you can also pick it optionally for the other trim levels. So these different driving modes, they do make a difference actually, and I would really prefer the individual mode where I can easily go for maybe a sporty steering, normal throttle input, but a little bit harder suspension. That would be my pick then. About the general diesel feeling here, you hardly feel any or hear any diesel nailing. It's sounding really modern and evolved. So really satisfied with this diesel here, also with the power. Yes, it's not that huge sporty engine where you get it on the double, so you have to wait for the turbo to set in. If you want even more power, go for the very strong petrol engine, for the 280 horsepower one, but then there's the consumption also higher. Here, 6 liters on 100 kilometers for the diesel. That's really fine, actually. You could, well, maybe go for the lower diesel with 150 horsepower. Still possible, but I wouldn't go. I would stick with the 2 liter of displacement with diesel, definitely. Well, petrol engine, I can think you can expect 8 or 9 liters on 100 kilometers at least. Then, especially if you go for the 280 horsepower one, and then also pick maybe all-wheel drive, including this here. Yeah, again, very comfortable, soft ride. You really feel high class in this car, And I mean, if you're told that like 10 years before that you feel high class, feel premium in a Skoda, no one would have believed that actually, because you've seen the exterior, seen the interior, and also the interior, the driving experience fits to the whole impression the car really gives. So again, I can stress, for the price the car offers, also very good feeling. Some really more expensive cars, I mean, 4.85 meters, a huge car actually. Some other luxury sedans which cost double the price, I can just stress it again because this is really the main feature of this car. This one can still compete. So I use, by the way, shift it up now, so it's even silent. Now again, I just roll and relax my ride here. So let me conclude about the all-new Skoda Superb Combi here. The difference between the sedan and the Combi is not that big anymore, I must say, because not because this one is bad, but because the sedan is already that good in the space it offers. Here, even more headroom for the rear passengers and even more space in the trunk, just a little bit, even more flexibility. And maybe you do prefer these combis here from the outside. People in Germany do actually. So this one has kind of only been sold as Combi in Germany so far. In the future, the sedan will also increase a little bit, but still this will then remain an important car, especially in Germany and also in the UK, because these ones are really estate markets then. So I would still go for the sedan, I would say, but what about you? Which one would you go for? The interior here, really superb, as the name says, very clean also. The exterior quite of dramatic and really, well, maybe already class leading now. And just the whole package, I think, is really class leading. Especially if you pick the middle trim level, then it's really great also from the price performance ratio. The driving, sound insulation, very good, very comfortable ride. Not that sporty ride, you have to be aware of that, but if you want this combi ride, you can definitely find it here. What is there to criticize? Not too much actually, because everything is so well executed that the hatch is actually closing, although we put our arms between it. I would criticize it. And also this automatic hatch here, I'm not sure. Sometimes it works. Yeah, like now. Yeah, now it works. Show effect. Sometimes it doesn't. It's like from 10 times you tried, maybe 3 times it worked in our test here. But we've experienced that with others before. We did inform us how actually where the sensor is closing, I don't know. But I wouldn't go for the option because it's obviously not that evolved yet. But besides these small details, really so much great things about the car. And you know, we are presenting to you a lot of cars which are like high in price, sometimes 100,000 euros car, and then we can say, oh, this is good and this is good, but say it's so expensive. This is also a car where more people are actually able to afford it, and it is still very good. So I recommend, for example, the style trim level, then with Alcantara on the middle part of the seats, Volkswagen on the outside, maybe a nice blue color, and then you will find, for example, in Germany, 36,000 euros or something like that, and really got a great car. And then, be it a sedan or Combi, 1,000 euros extra in pricing now. You have to decide if that's really worth it, if you maybe even like the Combi from the design better than the sedan. So thank you again for watching Autogefühl. I really had a lot of fun with you today again, and I hope to see you at the next Autogefühl episode.